Fixes in at the state capitol, this state budget fix, that is.
Top legislative leaders say the House and Senate will vote next week to correct some problems with the budget that the governor signed. Chief political correspondent Mark Davis joining us with more on this tonight. Good evening, Mark.
Hi, Scott and Ann. Good evening, everyone, from the Hartford newsroom. After 2 full weeks of discussing language, they now say they are ready to make the fix next week.
The bipartisan amigos, also known as the top leaders of the House and Senate from both political parties, sat around the table again today and decided that they will bring lawmakers back to Hartford next week to fix the hospital tax language in the budget rather than override the governor's line-item veto. In his line-item veto message, the governor said that the language would not be approved by the federal government and result in the hospitals not getting the increased federal dollars that would in turn give them the funds to pay a hike in the hospital tax.
I think there's a realization that the language that was in the budget is failed language. It has to change, otherwise there's no chance of success.
Lawmakers also plan to fix the problem that 67-year-old Linda Heston and thousands of other seniors and the disabled have been waiting for, getting the renter's rebate checks sent out, which have now been delayed almost a month.
That's a legislative problem. The only people who can correct legislative problems is the legislature.
We're meeting with the governor's office to talk about the solutions today, and that will be incorporated in our plan on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Legislative leaders said today that they could guarantee that Linda and thousands of others still waiting would have those checks by the end of this month. The governor is blaming the legislative leadership for leaving him out of budget negotiations last month.
They weren't taking advice, and they didn't execute well.
The legislative leaders also said today that the cable TV channel that covers state government events, known as CTN, will resume live coverage of state capitol events next week. It had ceased operations when the nonprofit organization that has been running it for over a decade decided that they couldn't operate it on the 50% cut in the budget. Live from the Hartford newsroom, Mark Davis, News 8.